What I personally love is, the whole concept. A lot of guys kind of look at vintage and go, oh, it's used clothes. I mean, it sounds like old cliche, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard that line, but when you look at fabrics from the 30s, 40s, 50s, I mean, they just did make it better back then. If it's lasted 50 years, it's probably going to last you another 50. My name is Richard Biasi, and I'm the owner and proprietor of Richard's Fabulous Finds here in Humboldt Park. My line is very, very tailored. I would say more to the English tailored end of things. It's very formal. Lots of tweed, ties, suits, jackets, coats, dress shoes, but a lot of guys are dressing up again, which is phenomenal. There's a huge movement in the European markets called the dandy movement. The guys are not only just dressing up, I mean, they're dressing up to the nines. It's about, great boater hats and fedoras, derbies, and guys are even back into spats and waistcoats and cufflinks and the whole 9 yards. And it takes America a little while to catch up, but I'm here to kind of get guys a little one step ahead of the curve, so to speak. When I got started, I was actually in the men's industry in regular retail. In about 2008, the bubble burst. Nobody was selling anything, especially in the luxury goods industry. So I got out of the game. A friend of mine, we got together and we were doing, taking old vintage ties and we were gutting them and turning them into bow ties. And started on Etsy. I put some of my vintage things that I had outgrown. And those sold really fast, and I was at an estate and bought a bulk lot of vintage ties and bow ties, and I put those online, and then those took off, and it just kind of snowballed from there. I started doing markets because there were so many people that wanted to see the product and try it on. You can only bring so much to a market. And I really wanted to be able to sell the suits, but there's no dressing rooms, no way to really try on. And then I found this beautiful space here in Humboldt Park, and I thought, what, this is the right time and the right place. My biggest goal of all goals is to show how to incorporate your vintage into your modern wardrobe and not make it look like a costume. It's always a great thing, when they leave and then they wear it and they call back or they email and just say, oh my, everybody loved it. I said, yeah, and did you tell them it's twice as old as you are? And and they always laugh and they're like, well, no. And I said, well, you need to tell people that. And you get all the compliments they said, and you keep in the back of your mind, this suit is twice as old as I am, and all these people are fawning over it. You'll never go back to regular retail. I mean, once you get hooked on vintage, you'll be hooked on vintage for quite a while. I handpick every piece in my store. It's got to have one little something that makes it more than just a jacket. That's the only way I'll stock items in my shop. And I dig. It's hard. It's a lot harder than I ever thought it was going to be. And you never run into a whole collection. It's always one piece here and maybe a couple pieces there. But I'm willing to do that because it is a labor of love. Fashion's always been my passion, so to speak. Other thing that I love about vintage too is, it's part of the whole green movement. I mean, every jacket that I save is probably a jacket that would have ended up in a landfill somewhere. I had a woman that came into the shop and she had some clothes of her father's. She had said, her brothers were just throwing it all in the trash. They were just tossing it. She was a little misty-eyed about it, but she goes, but look at your store. There's a new home for his items. I'm just so happy that now that I can take my knowledge, give it to other men. I had a young guy, 18 years old. He was in here and he was just like, he was in heaven because, there's all suits and tweeds and jackets and all these great pieces. And his mother was so excited because she was just like, he's just getting into fashion. I said, well, now he's got a home because, as long as I'm here, I'll always have something that hopefully will work. I said, so if you want the European look without the European price, and then you can come to Richard's Fabulous Finds and you can get it.